the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition, Attorney General, Bar Association, and the Association of Defense Attorneys, as well as the Integrity Commission. Perhaps they all get it wrong. So let me break it down. To derive at impartiality, the office holders, such as the Chief Justice, Director of Public Prosecution, Magistrate Court judges, Supreme Court judges, Appellate Court judges, they cannot identify with A, B, or C, and or C, referring to religious, political, and or other organizations. He, she, at least must keep a little distance from them. So when making decisions having to do with things of a physical nature, he, she does not discriminate and become entangled. You cannot hold these high offices and be kissing the ring or kneeling before a bishop. To be impartial, he, she needs to always see with clarity. He, she must not identify, however, he, she must associate with all without getting him or herself entangled. The only place where a person can justifiably discriminate is in his or her bedroom and bathroom, where it has to do with intimate touching. There is only one appropriate scale for measuring whether there is justice or injustice, and that's impartiality, which is pretty hard to satisfy because everything and anything can look unjust to whosoever. So-called justice is pretty hard to satisfy because of its predication, that what your side wants is justice as opposed to the other person's side or other party's side wanting injustice. Tolerance versus acceptance. Well, society, government, the courts in Belize, as well as the United Nations throughout the years have been using tolerance for appeasement, i.e. to appease minority groups. They would say, for example, let us establish a special category to protect the minority. If a spouse only tolerates his or her partner, the relationship will sooner or later end in divorce. For a wall of protection eventually becomes a wall of imprisonment. Therefore, the universal standard, whether you are talking in terms of majority versus minority, male versus female, husband versus wife, the universal standard has to be acceptance, which means there's no longer discrimination. At the root of discrimination are these ID badges I keep referring to, that special that people are wearing. And the more identifications they form, the farther away they drift from their spiritual core nature. And so the more partial they become. I say spiritual core for human beings are God breathed. They only became life when God breathed life into them. So at the core, they are spirit beings. Everything outside your core is outside of you. Because in the realm of the spirit, there are no boundaries. So human beings are born spiritual, but they keep drifting away from their core spirit nature by forming identifications. So yeah, the spirit realm is boundless. So it is only there that one is able to grow and expand without limitation. Common examples of wearing ID badges. Identifying with your caregiver and siblings, you refer to them as saying, let us say, my people, my family. In saying that, in saying so, you're saying the others are not. And in so doing, you are discriminating against everyone else in the world, the other 8.3 billion, because God is Because God, who is spirit in nature, is one. People go around saying, my God, as if though God is only theirs and doesn't belong to everyone. God only created them. Well, I have news. I mean, God created the entire 8.3 billion people in the world. So they are all God's children. Excuse you. They are all God's children. Who has created them? So, sorry. Don't go around discriminating against everyone else in the world, because God, who is spirit in nature, is one, and the universe is one energy. A person can only rightfully claim to have his or her own body and mind. However, no one can rightfully say, this is my life. For life is a shared commodity, shared among all other living creatures and things. So technically, you only have a piece of life. Life does not belong to you. It's a shared commodity. So in conclusion, the universal standard, i.e. in this society, within this society, cannot be tolerance. It can only be acceptance. For God is one and the universe is one energy. There is no, this is me and that's you. Instead, I must see you as forming part of myself. Given I traded in all my ID badges for one universal identity. To be in sync with God, for God is one, and the universe, which is one energy. So now when I see you as forming part of myself. For if I kept saying this is me and that's you, what I refer to as me would always be bigger than what I ascribe to you. So we must be persons of integrity, which means wanting for everyone else the same things or thing we want for ourselves, their well-being. We're not there, we shouldn't be there trying to be one up on everyone else. In seeing that you have integrity, that's when people, how and why people give you their trust. They give you their trust. They only demand promissory notes from, i.e., some politicians who they no longer trust. I will leave it at that.